Good evening, good evening, good evening, good evening. Happy Saturday evening. Let's see who's scrolling on Facebook. If anybody's gonna join. Yay, we have people. We have peoples. Hey, everybody. How's everybody doing? Everybody doing good? Give me thumbs up if you can hear me. Heippa Mirkka, Tiina, Niina, ketä kaikkia? Mä en näe kaikkia, mutta doesn't matter. Anyway, hey, interesting subject tonight. Hello, Tiina. Well, anyway, everything is going good. It's pretty chilly here in Finland. It's the weather turned to actually very cold suddenly, and I thought that what would be the best time to do a little live feed about alcohol than Saturday night, right? So that's something that I've been feeling for quite a while that I want to talk about that subject since a little while ago. There was a Facebook friend of mine that wrote about how she ended up taking her friend to get help for drinking, and I talk about alcohol a lot, quite a bit, and you might ask what makes me an expert to talk about alcohol. Well, I have consumed my fair amount of alcohol in my life. And I believe every single one of you guys watching, every single one that I know, have some kind of a connection with alcohol in their family, in their close friends, or something. Every single one of us is struggling with alcohol, straight in our own lives, or through somebody close to us, or through somebody that I know. There's not one person that doesn't have that in their life. And maybe that was also like last time I talked about spirituality, and that was really hard to start the whole conversation. And I think this is a very, very sensitive subject, and there's not only a negative. It's not only alcohol is not only a negative thing, but let's talk about that later. What is negative and what is positive and all that. But to me, I will say a few words about my own life and my own relationship with alcohol, and how it's affected my life, and I think I talked about being authentic last time, and I think it's very very, very important that I'll be also authentic and tell you guys about how's alcohol affected my life. And well, it's not that long ago that very, very close person to me, I can't say the name or how this person was close to me, but I felt deeply that it's my responsibility or whatever to help the person to get help. And it took a lot out of me. It was back and forth, and it's still going on, a huge struggle. And it's a relative, I can say that. it's neither of us, me or Ingela, but anyway, and it is so hard. It is so hard to see the struggle and see the everything. It's got like everything going straight to like downward spiral. So that was like a really like not that long ago, but I have to go a little bit backwards in time. When I was a kid, my mom was a drinker, and she passed away 2016 June. So I think I can talk about her now since she's not here anymore, but she was a heavy drinker, and that's one thing that is very important, that we understand that nobody could tell that she was drinking. Only the close family that spent time with her, and we were closely involved. So we saw it, and we were affected, but nobody knew. She went to work every day, and she could do all these things, but yeah, she I always felt like in my family like that alcohol was number one, and everything else came after. And I even didn't realize this, like kind of that there is an issue with drinking until I was an adult, and I had my own relationship already with alcohol then. And yeah, it was was quite a few times I was left home alone when my parents went to parties and things like that, and and when you're a kid, it creates a lot of uncertainty and a lot of you get scared, and it's really tough. It's tough when you wanna do something and you see your parents are. My dad, I never see my dad drunk, but my mom a lot. But my dad was only, he's still alive though, but it was like how do you say that? It's codependent, like kind of hiding it. And if you said something, or if I said something, there's absolutely no issue, or it was like that there's no problems and whatever. And if she said that she didn't drink, he would chime in and say, no, she haven't been drinking. Even everybody could tell. And it's still very, very sensitive subject in my family. It's very, don't kind of talk about it, kind of a thing. And there might be people here watching this live feed that have actually seen me also plastered with alcohol. There's been a lot of fun times, a lot of fun times, but in past 2 years I have realized that nothing good ever came out of that in my life. If you think about something what I would say the positive thing is, it would be if we are shy people and we want to interact, maybe you get your shyness out that way, or but what then? What happens after that? Well, like building a relationship after a drunken night in the bar. If you're shy and you're drinking because it's hard for you to talk to people, and then the alcohol will wear out, and it's gonna be hard it's gonna be hard to talk to people anyway afterwards. So was it that positive after all? And yeah, well, about myself, I haven't been drinking for 2 years almost at all. I do have wine. It would be hypocrite to yeah, good, thank you. I did get to see the name for the comment, but I appreciate you people watching, and I do love your comments, and I appreciate if you wanna write. So anyway, it would be hypocrisy if I said that I don't drink at all. I do have a glass of wine every once in a while, or I might have a drink or a cocktail or whatever. But I was if you'd asked me 3 years ago, I would have said differently. But now today I can say that I was heavily addicted to beer. I didn't drink beer to get drunk most of the time, but I did drink to relax. There was always a reason to have a beer after a good day's work, or for the stressful day, or if you did a good job. It's like a good thing to celebrate or whatever, and that's thank you, Petra. It's not easy. This is fucking hard to talk about these things, and that's why I want to talk. It's my passion. It's my passion to tell you guys. And if I want to be a spiritual person and in my line of duty to be an animal communicator and lead the way, I have to tell you how things are, and there's nothing to hide. I don't want to be a hypocrite and tell you how to do stuff or whatever. I want to be like an authentic person, and it's yeah. And then there was this one. I can tell you guys, it's interesting. There happened this one thing. This was already like I would say about 7 years ago. Then I had my house still, and I had a sauna, wood burning sauna, and I was making the sauna, and I took a picture. I had a beer can in my hand, and I took a selfie, and I posted on Facebook, and I said that here I am warming up the sauna and whatever. There was somebody, I don't remember who, but they wrote under there that, do you have a drinking problem, Michael? I was like, holy shit, I don't have a problem. And after that, I made sure that there are no pictures ever posted of me drinking anything. And then, well, time went on, and I started to eat really healthy and have a healthier lifestyle. But I always hung on to my beer. And you guys probably have heard the story of the baby bottle. We call them tuttipullo. That that was a joke between me and my friends, that I had to always have my baby bottle to keep me calm and happy and whatever. So no, it's like I don't even know what I was talking about. So anyway, yeah, what happened after realizing eating healthy and whatever. So one day I went on a step on the scale, and my weight had gone up to, what would I say, 100, somewhere between 105 and 110. And now today is 85. And then I said to Ingela, holy, what, I have to do something. This is not like, this is not a good thing. So I decided that I'm gonna be a little while without beer. and this is now 2 years ago. End up being a week, a month, or 2 months, and summertime came. I went to the cabin, I warmed up the sauna, and thinking, okay, I'd like to have a beer, but I didn't. And then I waited, and days went by and months went by, and now 2 years after, I can realize I don't need the beer anymore. I don't even think about it. That's the last thing I would put. And it's nice. It's Saturday evening. It's like a little after 6, and I would have already had, beer and maybe a glass of wine and to chill. To actually realize, there are so many things happened at the same time. What I realized that I was I had such a severe anxiety and such a bad case of having panic attacks and all that. So I tried to self-medicate with alcohol to have a beer in the evening or whatever, to just not to think about these things or whatever was bringing me the anxiety. And so now also I had to work through all these anxieties and things that made me anxious. I had to work through them other ways. I really had to look my emotions in the eye and realize that what's happening in here, what's happening in my heart, and what's happening in my inside of me. What kind of an emotions I'm running. And I started to realize, since the older I got, the more severe the anxieties and all those things got. So I realized that it's better to, or I just have to go through with that without any medication or any anything like that, so that I have to. And I realized that it wasn't freaking easy. It was hard work. Well, there are things that have helped me, this is not a plant medicine lecture, but that helped me probably the most than anything have helped me. But there are other ways too, but you have to look your emotions and what is it, why you drink. It's completely two different things to have a glass of wine with your friends every once in a while with the food or for social occasion. But when you start drinking, every day, there's two different things. And if it's an issue, if you can't be without it, then it is a problem. And for me, I was thinking that since I'm not drinking to get drunk, it's not a problem. But when looking back, I realized I drank something almost every day to realize that it was an issue. Okay, so there you have my background. So now to talk a little bit about, I wrote under my friends I was talking about early. If you just came in, you can watch this from the beginning later on. But I wrote there that something interesting happened. A lot of stuff have happened in past 2 years. More have happened to me in past 2 years than have happened in my entire life. Probably so many things happen all the time. We're living very, very interesting time. But a couple years ago, I was invited to speak in a spiritual conference, and I had already decided that I'm not drinking anymore. I had kind of quit, and I never drank during work-related stuff anyway. Afterwards, yes, almost like every time, something. But And they had this gathering, they had this evening thing for the presenters, for the people that were speaking or giving lectures or workshops and whatever. So, and it was in the middle of this happening, and there were food and open bar kind of a thing. Oh no, if we had to buy our own drinks if we wanted to, yeah. There was, I think you could have one drink with your food or something. So we went, we're eating, and of course we didn't take any alcohol. I'm sitting there, and people, they know me and whatever, and somebody came to me and said that, Michael, you're not drinking. Are you sick? I was like, no, I'm not sick. I just don't feel like drinking, and I just ate my food. And when we had finished our food, people started to be really drunk. And I'm thinking, this is effed up. These people are the people that are like the people in the spiritual scene here in Finland, and people are following them, and I was like, what? And the next day the thing continued, and people were hungover, and so I think it was just one example. I was like, I love the word flabbergasted. I was flabbergasted. I couldn't understand that. How it was really not, in my eyes it wasn't cool. And there's something else just a while ago that I read about some spiritual gathering that they offered alcohol. One thing I have learned about alcohol is you drink it or not. It doesn't make any oh, oops, something fell. Doesn't matter. It doesn't make a big of a difference if you do or not, but in a big gathering where you don't know people, if it's a spiritual gathering, I would not offer alcohol. And one other thing, never bring alcohol as a gift to anybody's home. When I was a child, I told you about my childhood, there were so many parties and birthdays and things like that, and people brought alcohol as a gift, and without knowing. There was one time I was at the birthday party that I knew the guy who turned, I think it was the 70th birthday party, and I knew that he's an absolutist, he doesn't drink at all. Oh my God, people brought so many bottles of whiskey and cognac and brandy and all that. I'm thinking, do these people even know where they came from? Where they came to? Like, whose party this is? Like, I'm like, there's so many other nice things that we can bring. No, I don't think that. If it's not like you've discussed with your friends that I'm gonna bring a bottle of wine and so on and so forth. But there was one time we had people from United States to visit my mom, and obviously they had read online that it's a common custom in Finland that when you come and visit, you bring a bottle of alcohol. So they brought a freaking heavy liquor, like a big bottle of vodka or something like that. And I was like, oh man, it was, to me, I was like, we always gonna pay the price. And it was the drunken people, they get into this, mode. They start repeating and repeating. And with my mom or with other people or with me, if I'd had alcohol enough to be drunk, I'd start me, yapping the same freaking circle about the same subject, and the people, all the underlining irritations and everything, starts coming out, and we say that the problems swim well, so they just absolutely love alcohol. Somebody wrote this week as a comment about some shamans and stuff that use alcohol in their ceremonies. There might be something in some traditions and something like that. That's a whole different story. I'm not talking about them. I haven't researched it. They know what they're doing, and I know that at some point in time I've read something about some tribes somewhere that they use to bring certain spirits out, so they might do that, but it's not like a party thing. So that's a different thing, and if some of you guys know about that kind of stuff, you're free to comment. One thing that I want you to pay attention to is TV and movies. It is a huge advertisement there the whole time. They show you how to drink, when you should drink, and what you should be drinking. So, and that is throughout all television. It doesn't matter if it's about if there's, and the most interesting thing to me is it doesn't matter if they're police, if they're doctors, nurses, anything to do with any TV show that is talking about somebody's work. Every time when there's a stressful moment, they go and have a drink. Usually they even smoke, but that's another thing that I've smoked in my life when I was younger, but I've not been smoking for 20 years or something. So anyway, they show you that when things get hard and stressful, the answer is always a drink, and that is so freaking crazy. The work that should be the most cautious and most responsibility, they're drinking. They go to the bar and they drink. They show how people get really drunk. If there's issues in family dynamics, in a movie or whatever, they go and drink. They come home, they pour, they drink. And if they're in their office, they offer a drink. If they're, have been arresting somebody, they drink. And if they're having fun, they drink. There are so many movies about, how it's fun and how is cool, and how it's like how you should party and always drink. There's a huge culture and huge promotion, and it's harder to almost in this society, it's almost harder to be not drinking than it is actually. It's like more accepted to drink and be drunk and act like an ass. And what I can say is that I have had so many drunken arguments in my life. To witness other people argue, let's put some light here. Have other people argue and witness that, witness people fighting, witness my mom fighting, my dad somewhat like sober, and my mom is sitting in the corner throwing plates and screaming, and we're kids and we are watching this, and I have been listening on the phone, screaming and yelling, and like how I didn't even like invite them over to my house for years, since I didn't want to have the alcohol. My mom was the nicest, kindest, most considerate person when she was sober, and I loved her, and I know that she hears me on the other side when I talk about this, and I think it's somehow it's like almost like guided, and I have acted like an ass. I have had lots of fun at parties and lots of fun while traveling and having drinks, but I have had the most horrible hangovers. I've had the worst worst fights, and I can say that most childhood trauma, not drama as well, but trauma especially, comes through something related with alcohol. And I believe that most my anxieties and fears and panic attacks were somewhat from somebody drinking in my family, and the most nastiest fights and behavior I have had myself is when I've been under alcohol. So nothing good if you don't count the times that it's been fun and games or whatever. There's been a lot of like gatherings and friends and stuff that like that, but there's been so many times that everything goes to shit when there's alcohol, and family Christmases and family parties, and so I can't promote alcohol, and I am so happy. I think that's the biggest thing. I didn't know if I'm ever gonna be without beer in my entire life, but now it's like it is like given. It wouldn't cross my mind to go drink. I'm not even a doctor or a specialist who can tell what happens in your intestines, but you can Google it or watch the videos what does happen to your intestines when you consume alcohol, and everything. I am not preaching. It doesn't matter if you eat candy, ice cream, if you're hooked on chocolate or whatever. When you have a little bit, every once in a while, but if it's like if you consume something, if you're hooked on Netflix, I love Netflix. We watch a lot of good movies and a lot of good series. But if you have to consume that every day, 8 hours or hours, it's an addiction. It's and if it's alcohol, it's first of all, it's okay. It's completely okay. But be truthful to you. Be truthful to yourself, and if it's food, if it's there's so many different things that we get addicted, and I believe wholeheartedly that I was also addicted to my panic attacks and my anxiety, and they were my permission to then take a drink if you're feeling and nowadays if I even have the glass of wine, one glass for one is enough. And when you don't have alcohol for a long period of time, it tastes like it starts tasting really alcoholic. It tastes really strong. So and people might say, well, what do you do then? How do you have fun then? Well, there's so many things you can do to have fun. I mean, and yeah, there's so many. That's a whole nother talk. What to do to have fun, but it's like, and one thing, somebody wrote also is that how do our animals get affected? Since I'm an animal communicator, I want to quickly just touches that subject. And yeah, I when we drink, our animals they do get affected. When we fight, they're like little children. Our pets, dogs, cats, they are, if we're thinking about human, their consciousness, they're all their life in between 5 and 10-year-old child, and they get really affected the same way. First of all, they don't like the smell, and we start taking our frustration out on them also easier. And yeah, my mom, I love you, Mom. But when she came to visit, I had 4 dogs, and we had 4 dogs at the house. And when she had drinks, she always turned into this, "Oh, come here, I wanna hug you." And she started to hold on to the dogs, and they were like, "Oh, let me out, don't touch me," kind of a thing. But she thought that it's cute and nice to start kissing them and hugging them, and and then when it ended up being an argument, the animals obviously were listening and getting affected like little children would. And yeah, I know that when there are children in the house, when there is something, like if they need a police or there's a drunken fight or whatever, or animal welfare is called to the scene, and they're all little children also, they bring the social workers as well. So everything goes hand in hand. And yeah, so the most loving way, I just encourage you people to look into your addictions, whatever it may be. And we all know, if it's us or somebody else, how sad it actually makes us when we see somebody struggling and that we don't know what to do, how we can help them, or how we can make their life better, or and nobody can help you if you don't want to help yourself. So we know also that people need to want help, but like in my family or whatever, I felt like or saw it that like my mom, she never thought that she's got an issue, so she didn't get help. So when she passed away, she didn't pass away straight through alcohol, but alcohol was a by reason, and yeah, it was a big reason for. And I hope that none of you guys have to. Well, I can't really say that because I know that we all are struggling with the subject. That well, I would say that I hope that you all have the strength to go through with these things within your family, with your friends, with yourself, or whatever. And you're not alone. You can ask help. There's always help available wherever you are, I think, in the world. If you want to help yourself. And anyways, otherwise, life is good. A lot of new things happening. Ingela's having a couple of healing courses coming up here in Finland. I think you can look them online. There's still room. I have online course going on, and then there's in Finnish next year masterclass starting in animal communication if you want to look into that. But all in all, I'm really happy that I got to talk about this subject to you. This wasn't like that whoop whoop kind of a subject. And I just wanted to talk about it since it's been on my mind for a long time now. And I love you guys. I love you. Have a beautiful weekend. Have fun your Saturday night. And yeah. We're looking forward to seeing you too, Mia. So, I love you all. Talk to you soon. I will let you know what's the next subject. If you have ideas, just write to me. Okay, you guys. Love you all. Bye.